Hey guys, Coach here, coming back to you with another training session. And today we are in the no calculator section of the Math GED portion, and we're going to be dealing with a concept that you're going to see it pop up in other things. In fact, this one might pop up in science, it might pop up in math, probably not in social studies, or realistically, I don't think it's going to pop up in social studies, but it's just good to know. I will tell you, this is an idea you're going to see all kinds of places. But it is the concept of exponents. And exponents are sometimes referred to as powers. It's the little numbers that go up above the bigger numbers. And it is just about multiplying. In one of Coach's earlier training sessions, he told you how all math is just add, subtract, multiply, or divide. One of those four in different ways. Well, exponents or powers is just a type of multiplying. It's just lots of multiplying. So let's look at what this is. So if you want to follow along, we're going to be using our practice sheets that you can print up. And we've got an easy, a medium, and a hard level. So there are 3 pages. The answers are at the bottom of the pages. We'll take a couple from each one and move through it because you're going to see this also pop up a lot in your square and square roots practice. So we're going to go over the concept of this, and you're going to get it, and you're going to use it. You'll see it a little bit on the non-calculator section, but then when you get to the calculator section, where's my calculator? I threw it away. Here it is. When you get to the calculator section, make sure you watch the calculator video, which is awesome. Another coach built that. We have the buttons that are going to do it all for us. So you're only going to have to deal with like 1, maybe 2 problems that involve it without the calculator, and then you're going to be able to use the calculator for most of the times that you see this concept. All right, so what is an exponent or power? This concept you saw originally, you probably got explained a little bit, maybe as early as 5th grade, but then it really was used primarily maybe in your middle school stuff. And let's go into it. So let's start with something simple. So our very first practice problem, number 1, says 3 to the 2nd power, and that's how we read it. So this is 1 from the easy section, 1E. Easy E. Anyways, today was a good day. Anybody know that one? I bet some people do. All right, so 1 from the easy section. We've got 3 to the 2nd power. 3 to the 2nd power, or 3 raised to the 2nd power. You may hear it spoken of in these different formats. All you're doing is this is the number 3 used twice, is what this means. It means we're taking the number 3, multiplying it by 3. You'll see it's 3 2 times. So we have a 2 here. There's 1 3. There's our second 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And that's all exponents and powers are. And we'll see, we're going to do several more. You'll see later on, but the little 2 up here is so common. We use the little 2 raised to the 2nd power so often. It's its own special name, and that's called squared. But that's going to be actually on one of our next lessons for the squared stuff. All right, so now let's look at, well, let's use the same thing. Let's go to number 6 from the easy section. So this is 6E. Now on 6E, instead of 3 to the 2nd power, we have 3 to the 3rd power. And there's the reason I wanted to use this one, was because it's the same base number. That's what they call this, is our base number. So 3 raised to the 3rd power over here. That gives us 3 times 3 times 3. Once, twice, 3 times. It's always our base number that we're multiplying. And our power is how many times do we multiply that base number. So let's work it out. 3 times 3 is, I'm going to make this, I'm going to do 9. So then I got 9 times 3. 9 times 3 equals, this is 27. Now, raised to the third power is also a really common one, and it's got its own special name as well, and we call that cubed. QUB, that's not spelled right. Anyways, Coach doesn't like spelling. Coach likes math because math is always the same. You do the process, you get the points, it's done. Reading's kind of weird, and like spelling has all kinds of weird rules. But remember, there's no spelling test for the GED. I mean, you want to get pretty close on your spelling when you're doing like your essay section, but that's a separate thing. All right, so there's some easy ones, and it breaks down. And I don't want to overcomplicate it. That's all it is. It's your base number, and it's your exponent, your power. It's how many times do you take your base number times your power. So I'm going to flip the page to go to a medium one. So let's flip the page to our medium section. And let's go, oh, here's a good one. 7 medium, 2 to the 6th. That one's a little bit longer. So 7m, 7 from the medium section. We have 2 raised to the 6th power. That means we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Times 2. So I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's just a matter of doing it. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. 32 times 2, let's say I don't remember that. This is totally fine on my paper to do, I don't remember. 32 times 2, I don't want to mess that up. Let me set it up. 32 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 64. So 2 to the 6th power gives me 64. So let's do a quick check there. So this is 7m, 2 to the 6th, and we think 7m is 64. So I go to my answer key here, 7. It's 64. That's correct. Bada bing! Not so bad, right? Okay, let's jump into the hard section. Let's do some hard ones, because once you're doing the hard ones, that's all there is. Okay, hard exponents. And this is where we get a little different. Okay. Let's start with, let's go right into it. Number 3. Now you're like, whoa, coach, wait a second. You got 2 separate ones that you're multiplying there. 2 to the 2nd power times 5 to the 2nd power? Yeah. But it's still just multiplying, and you still just keep it organized. Like I've said before, keep things lined up, keep it organized, and you're gonna be all right. So this is number 3 from the hard section. And also remember, this is non-calculator portion. If you see a really big one, it's probably gonna be on your calculator section, and when you get there, we'll be practicing a lot more with making the tool do the work, because that's a big key, is making sure you know your tools. But your tool on this section, these 5 problems, is your brain and your fingers with your whiteboard, scratch paper. That's your tool. So we're going to work that tool right now. All right, so our problem is, let's see, 2 to the 2nd times 5 to the 2nd. So I'm going to do it a little bit lower here. 2 to the 2nd power times 5 to the 2nd power. Well, all this is 2 separate problems, and then I'm going to multiply their answer. There's nothing special I really got to do here with this, and I'm going to keep it simple. If you get into really advanced math stuff, there's some things you can do to combine this and do some special things, but for GED, we don't need that. So we're keeping it straightforward. We're keeping it simple. 2 times 2. So this one breaks down to 2 times 2. This is one problem. So what's 2 to the 2nd power? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. times, all right, well, here's our next one. 5 to the second power. That is 5 times 5, because there's our base number 5, and we're doing it 2 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Well, can you do 4 times 25? I bet you know what 4 quarters are. How much money you got if you got 4 quarters? So 4 times 25, and even if you don't remember, you can set it up, organize it. 25, because Coach has said this before. I might do it this way because I don't want to miss a simple point. 4 times 5, well, 4 times 5, that's 20. So there's a 0, there's a 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Oh, 100. And that makes sense. 4 quarters is $1, $1 is 100 cents. So 100. Am I right? 3 hard. Let's look at our answer key. Number 3 hard. Oh, 1 hundo. Hundo. There it is. So even though it looked like it was harder, it really was just 2 simple problems, and then you multiplied their answer. All right, now let's look at the challenge one. Here is our challenge one, which is number 8. Go ahead and look at number 8. There's this weird one, 3 to the first power. All right, let me get a fresh page here. Because like I've said, you know, your tester will give you more paper if you need it. I don't need to erase what I've done. I'll get more paper. So I'm going to practice what I preach here when I'm training. All right, so my problem, this is 8 hard. I've got 2 to the 5th power times 3 to the 1st power. All right, well, these are 2 separate problems, and then I'm going to multiply their answers. 2 to the 5th power. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to set this one up. 2 times, I've got to do it 5 times because that's my exponent. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2, 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And if I didn't remember it, I would set up 16 times 2. Take my 10 seconds to do this. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. 32. Oh, yep, checks out. But now I got this guy. 3 to the 1st power. And this is confusing, right? Because, like, why would you have this? Normally, you will never see this except on a weird test. Because to the 1st power means what? 3 is our base number. This is 3 times, well, how many times do we have 3? Our exponents tells us how many times we have it. It's just 1 time. So there's not even a multiply. It's just 3. 3 to the 1st power is just 3. So I have 32 times 3. So I'm going to do this. I could do it in my head if I wanted to. But once again, I'm going to practice what I preach and actually write it down because I'll have plenty of paper. 32 times 3. And this is going to take me all of an extra 10 seconds to do. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Oh, it's 96. So I think my answer to 8 hard is 96. Let's take a peek down here. There's number 8 hard. Oh, 96. All right, guys, there are your exponents. That is the work you're going to do on it. It's really just about getting comfortable with the concept of your base number and your powers and how many times you multiply it out. You're not going to see but maybe one problem that has this in there. And chances are you're going to see this buried inside of another problem. So you just want to be comfortable with it. You may not see just a straight up exponent problem. This is more of a skill you'll see buried in other problems, which we'll practice when we get to our particularly our PEMDAS problems, our Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, which we'll get into that in a few lessons. But for now, if you'd like, go ahead and practice these other ones. There is a quiz linked that you can do, and when you put in your answers, it will give you your score right after. And then this lesson will be done. All right, guys, that's Coach for this training session. If you're through here, This one's another one down, and you're moving right along. So, exponents, sometimes called powers, you're good to go, and we'll see you when we train next. Vaya con Dios.